Hey guys, tonight we leave the modern world behind. No glowing screens, no buzzing phones, no soft hum of electricity in the walls. Just the slow breath of earth and sky. We're going somewhere quieter, somewhere colder, somewhere wrapped in mist and memory. This is Verdun. The year is 1916. The Great War is in full fury, but this story isn't about strategy or glory. It's not about generals or medals. It's about one soldier. And it begins in the dark. You wake slowly, not from sleep exactly, but from something deeper. A kind of stillness that isn't rest, but exhaustion laid thick over your bones like wet mud. The air is heavy, damp. You don't know the time. Could be dawn, could be midnight. The sky outside the dugout is the same pale gray it's been for days. Fog clings to the earth like breath on a mirror. You're not sure if the war's asleep or just watching you silently from the trees. Your uniform is damp against your skin, always damp. The wool holds moisture like a sponge and smells faintly of sweat, oil, and earth. You shift slowly on your cot, just a few planks of wood nailed together. Your back aching in places you stopped thinking about days ago. Above you, the beams of the dugout drip with condensation. One droplet falls and lands on your cheek, cold, sharp. You blink and the world comes back into focus, though it never really left. You can hear him breathing beside you, Henri, a soft snore, almost musical. He's curled up like a child, one arm under his helmet, the other across his chest, holding a photograph. You've never asked who it was, wife, sister, mother. Doesn't matter. Everyone carries something in their pocket to remind them they used to live above ground. The smell down here is impossible to ignore. It's not just rot. It's life in slow decay. Boots that haven't dried in a week, mold growing on canvas, rats, so many rats, squeaking in the corners, bold enough now to run across your chest in the night. One had eaten through your last biscuit. You ate it anyway. You sit up slowly, trying not to disturb the others. The ceiling is low and your helmet scrapes against it. Outside someone coughs, deep, wet. Maybe Pierre. He's been coughing like that for days, but he keeps digging, keeps carrying ammo crates, keeps swearing at the sky like it owes him something. The fog outside the dugout is thick this morning, thicker than usual. It swallows the trenches, the trees, the sounds of boots in mud. You stand at the entrance and let it wrap around you like a wet blanket. The cold kisses your cheeks. The rifle is heavy in your arms. You don't even remember picking it up, but it's there, always there, a sixth limb. The war gave it to you, and it won't let go. Somewhere, far off, a shell lands, not close enough to flinch, just close enough to remind you it's real. The ground trembles, just slightly, like something ancient stirring in its sleep. You close your eyes, you breathe, in through the nose, out through the mouth, just like the medic taught you when the shell shock made your hands tremble. The fog smells of smoke, ash, and something else you can't name, something metallic, the kind of scent that settles into your tongue and stays there. You can hear footsteps behind you, slow, dragging. It's Marcel. He never hurries anymore. His left foot is twisted from the last bombardment. Didn't say a word when it happened, just limped back from the line, face white as snow. He doesn't say anything now either, just nods, eyes sunken, and takes his place on the plank bench, rolling a cigarette with fingers blackened by mud and powder. You join him. The silence between you is comfortable, sacred even. Words feel heavy out here, like they cost too much to use without purpose. You light a match. The flame flares, tiny and defiant, then flickers against the cold. He lights the cigarette, takes one long drag, exhales slowly. "Cold one," he mutters. You nod. That's all. The smoke rises and disappears into the fog like everything else, like time, like people. There's movement near the edge of the trench. A flicker of brown against the gray. Another soldier. You don't know his name. Maybe he's new. Maybe he's just a face you haven't noticed before. That happens here. The line between stranger and comrade is thin. Sometimes they vanish before you can learn their names. The captain appears a moment later. No hat, just a scarf wrapped around his neck, and that notebook he never puts down. His voice is low, steady, orders, patrol rotation, supplies are running low again, water's being rationed tighter. The word reinforcements is mentioned, but nobody reacts. We've all heard that before. You volunteer for the morning patrol. You're not sure why. Maybe because it's better to walk than to wait. Better to move through the fog than to let it settle on your skin like death. Henri doesn't look up. He knows you'll be back, or he hopes you will. Same thing. You shoulder your rifle, check your pockets. 2 rounds, a piece of bread, and that scrap of paper folded in your chest pocket. You don't unfold it, just press your hand over it for a second, like a prayer. Then you climb. The ladder is slick with mud. Your boots slip, but you catch yourself. The sky, if it can be called that, is a uniform wall of gray. The world has shrunk to 20 feet in every direction. You can barely see the end of your own barrel. The trench ends in a crater field, shell holes filled with stagnant water, and ghost trees with no bark. You walk slowly. Every step is choice. The mud clings like glue. Somewhere nearby, a crow caws once, then vanishes. Your breath clouds in the air. There is no sound but your own boots and the faint rhythmic thump of your heart. You are alone, and yet not alone. You can feel the presence of others, those who walked this path yesterday, those who didn't return. Their footprints linger half filled with water. The patrol path bends near a dead tree, a landmark now, its branches like broken fingers reaching for a sky that never answers. You pause here. Listen, a trickle of water from a burst pipe, the rustle of cloth, and then silence. You kneel near the tree just for a moment. You rest one hand against its bark, brittle and scarred. This tree has seen everything. It has stood through the artillery, through gas clouds and bayonet charges. It has not fallen. You draw strength from it, even if it's foolish. A tree cannot care, but it is still here, and so are you. You've turned back. The trench is invisible now, lost in the fog, but your feet know the way. You walk slowly, step by step, retracing your own prints. There is comfort in the repetition, in the quiet. You tell yourself, one more morning, one more patrol, one more breath. The cold air wraps around you as you step outside, and you instantly regret it. The mud beneath your feet is thick, sucking at your boots like a ravenous beast. The village itself seems frozen in time, a patchwork of wooden homes with thatched roofs, all huddling together for warmth against the biting wind. As you walk past the livestock, their low guttural sounds greet you, pigs snorting, chickens clucking, and the occasional bleat of a goat. It's a world that's far from clean, far from comfortable, and it's a world where survival is a daily struggle. The road to the fields is muddy, treacherous, and surrounded by the scent of wet earth and animal waste. It's not a place where anyone would want to spend much time, but here you are. Your day begins not with the luxury of choice, but with the necessity of hard labor. The fields are where you'll spend most of your waking hours, working the land in a cycle that has remained unchanged for centuries. The soil is as unforgiving as the lives of those who toil on it, and the tools you wield are crude, heavy, and often ill-suited for the work that lies ahead. There's no time for daydreams in the fields, no time for rest. The constant need for food, for warmth, for survival, presses on every action. The sun climbs lazily across the sky, as if it too is reluctant to warm the earth, and by noon, you've already felt the strain of hours spent bending and lifting, planting and harvesting. Each task takes its toll on your body. The back aches, the hands bleed, and the sweat pours down your face, mingling with the dust and grime of your labor. The work is grueling, relentless, and thankless. But it is necessary. There's no room for weakness here. If you don't work, you don't eat. The day wears on, and by the time the sun begins its descent, you feel the familiar pangs of hunger gnawing at your stomach. It's a constant companion, this hunger, always there, always reminding you of your place in the grand scheme of things. Your body has grown accustomed to this emptiness, this gnawing ache that never quite goes away. Dinner, if you can call it that, is the same as breakfast, a bowl of pottage, a grim reminder of your station in life. It's not food that nourishes the soul, but rather sustains the body just enough to keep going. The grains and vegetables stew in their own sameness day after day, with little variation. It's a cycle that's as predictable as it is depressing. You sit down with your family, the fire crackling softly in the hearth. It's the only source of warmth in the house, and it offers a fleeting sense of comfort amidst the harshness of the world outside. The fire's glow dances on the faces of those gathered around, but there's little joy to be found here. The conversation is sparse, the silence thick with the weight of exhaustion. Each person is lost in their own thoughts, their own private struggle. The meal is eaten quickly, almost mechanically. No one lingers, for there is little pleasure to be found in such meager fare. As the night draws near, the cold creeps in once again. The warmth of the fire, though comforting, does little to stave off the chill in the air. You wrap yourself in your woolen blanket, its weight a small comfort against the cold, but it's not enough to ease the tension in your body. Your thoughts drift as you lie in the dark, surrounded by the sounds of the village, dogs barking in the distance, the occasional clink of metal from a nearby smithy, the low murmur of voices from the street outside. It's a world that feels both far away and all too close, a world of hardship and survival, where every day is a fight, a struggle just to exist. And as the hours pass, the darkness of the night wraps itself around you like a shroud. Sleep comes fitfully, disturbed by the sounds of the world outside and the aches that plague your body. But there's no choice but to rest, to prepare for the next day, for tomorrow will be just like today, a constant grinding repetition of toil and survival. And so you drift off, knowing that when the sun rises again, you'll rise with it, ready to face another day in this relentless, unforgiving world. The morning comes far too soon, and with it, the familiar weight of reality. The cold bite of dawn cuts through the thin walls of your hut, dragging you from the fragile comfort of sleep. You hear the first sounds of the village stirring, hooves on cobblestones, the distant clatter of a cart rolling down the road, the sharp calls of roosters trying to assert their dominance over the dawn. There's no gentle waking here. The sun doesn't rise to greet you. It rises to remind you that another day of hard labor lies ahead. Your body protests as you sit up, groaning in protest at the familiar aches and stiffness. The air is damp, clinging to your skin like a wet cloak. The straw mattress beneath you is more of a suggestion than a true bed. Its roughness a reminder of how little you have. You tug the wool blanket tighter, hoping for just a few more minutes of rest, but it's futile. The bell tolls again, a signal that the world outside is waiting for you, a world that doesn't care if you're tired or cold, hungry or aching. It demands your presence, and so, like the others, you rise. Outside, the world is gray and dreary. The fog of early morning still clings to the earth, wrapping everything in a damp, oppressive stillness. The roads are muddy, slick with rain that fell through the night. Every step feels heavier, the weight of the earth beneath you demanding more effort with each movement. The farm animals seem to be in no hurry to get moving either, as if they too are weary of the never-ending cycle of days. There's no luxury of time here. The work waits for no one, and every task, no matter how small, is a reminder of the grind you live in. The fields await, the plows are waiting to be pulled through the earth, and the livestock need tending. The sweat from yesterday hasn't even dried from your skin, and already you're at it again. The simplicity of it is suffocating. There's no room for self-reflection, no time to daydream. The only thing that matters is getting through the day. You take a deep breath, bracing yourself, and move forward, your hands instinctively reaching for the tools that will help you survive. But survival is no easy feat. Each day the work grows harder, the soil is stubborn, the seasons are cruel, and the demand for more from you never ends. Your muscles ache from pulling the plow, your hands raw from the constant labor. The only thing you can rely on is the rhythm of the day, the predictable, monotonous beat of sunup to sundown. But even that rhythm is a form of punishment. There's no escape from it, no reprieve. You're locked in this endless cycle, and every turn of the wheel feels like another turn of a prison cell. As the day wears on, the sun climbs higher in the sky, but it offers no warmth. The clouds hang heavy overhead, threatening more rain, more cold. It's as if the earth itself is angry with you, resentful of your existence, as if it's always striving to remind you of how small and insignificant you are. The food you've been given doesn't help. It fills the belly, but it doesn't nourish the soul. The pottage, the stale bread, the sour beer, they're sustenance, nothing more. They keep you going, but they offer nothing beyond that. You work through the afternoon, the sun sinking lower in the sky. The world around you grows dimmer, the shadows lengthening as you continue your tasks. The ache in your bones has become a constant companion, and even the earth seems to weigh heavier on you as you labor. The noise of the village has quieted, the hustle of the day tapering off into the murmur of evening. And yet, there's no rest for the weary. As you finish your work, the thought of the evening meal looms ahead. Another night, another bowl of pottage, another endless repetition. The light fades entirely, and the village becomes a patchwork of flickering shadows and the soft glow of fires. The cold creeps in again, as if it has been waiting for its turn. Inside your home, the fire offers a flicker of warmth, but it doesn't last long. You try to stretch your aching muscles, but there's little relief. The night drags on and the same thoughts swirl in your head. Is this it? Is this all there is? But before you can contemplate further, sleep begins to take you, as it always does, slowly, unwillingly, and with no promise of respite. And so you rest, only to rise once again when the bell tolls, to face the same struggles, the same burdens, the same relentless cycle that never truly ends. The days blur together, indistinguishable from one another, a haze of exhaustion, hunger, and work. The Middle Ages are a time when survival is not just a goal, it's a daily battle. A battle that takes everything from you day after day, year after year. And in the end, what do you have to show for it? A life spent in the shadows, working tirelessly, never truly living, just surviving. The next morning arrives with the same unforgiving rhythm. You can feel it in your bones, the weight of another day of grueling work. It's not a matter of wanting to rise, but of having no choice but to do so. The world outside doesn't pause, and neither does your responsibility to it. The chill of dawn presses into your skin, and the familiar sights of the village greet you with indifference. The earth, soaked with the remnants of last night's rain, squelches beneath your boots. The once vibrant roads are now muddy, the fog hanging thick in the air like a blanket that refuses to lift. The quiet hum of activity fills the air as others begin to stir. Their movements, like yours, are mechanical. There's no space for anything else. You move from task to task with a practiced grace, the motions of your body as familiar as breathing. There is no room for thought, no time for reflection. The day stretches ahead, long and unyielding. Each moment bleeds into the next, until the thought of an end seems as far away as the horizon itself. The tasks, feeding the animals, repairing the fences, tending the crops, are endless, one after another, a never-ending cycle of action. The seasons change, but the work remains the same. The weariness that settles into your bones never truly fades. You pause for a moment, watching the others around you, the men, the women, the children, each caught in the same struggle. There's no escape from this life, no real relief from the constant pressure. The sun's harsh light begins to burn away the fog, but it offers no warmth. You're left with the same bitter truth. The world does not care about you, not in any meaningful way. It gives, but it takes just as much. The earth is unforgiving, the seasons merciless. You work in its shadow, not as a participant in its grandeur, but as a mere pawn in its endless dance. Lunchtime comes, but it's not much of a break. A hasty meal of bread, cheese, and thin soup, nothing that could satisfy more than hunger, and barely that. The food, like everything else, is a reminder that you're here to labor, not to live. There's no room for indulgence, no space for comfort. You eat quickly, knowing the tasks are still waiting for you. There's always more work. The brief respite offers little more than a chance to catch your breath before diving back into the grind. And yet, the world continues to turn. The day goes on as it always does, with the same monotony, the same fatigue. By afternoon, the light begins to fade, and the cold begins to creep in. Even though the sun has risen high, the chill never truly lifts. You're left with the weight of exhaustion that you can never shake. Your hands are rough, your body aching from the constant strain. Yet there's no time for rest. The work isn't done, the plowing isn't finished, the sheep aren't fed, the tools aren't sharpened. You press on, shoulders hunched, mind numb to the repetition of it all. And as evening approaches, you begin the slow trek back to your dwelling. The path feels longer today, the weight of your labor heavier, the light is dimming, the air cooling, and the sense of finality settles over you like the dusk. But there's no end, no rest for you. The night holds no promises. There's always another day, always more work, always more struggle. It's a cycle that feels both endless and suffocating. You reach your hut, and the fire inside offers a small comfort, but it too will fade. The warmth is fleeting, and the day will begin again too soon. Sleep is your only escape, a brief, temporary release. But even sleep can't fully soothe you. The moment your eyes close, the weight of the world presses on your chest once again. It's inescapable, the harshness of the time, the endless struggle to survive. The next day will come, just as the last did, and the one before that. The rhythm of it all is all-consuming, a machine that grinds away at your soul with every turn. And in this endless cycle, you begin to wonder, is this the life you were meant for? Is this all there is? But the questions don't have answers. They never do. So you close your eyes, let the exhaustion take over, and prepare to face another day. The night drags on, but sleep doesn't come easily. The bed, if you can even call it that, is a lumpy, uncomfortable excuse for comfort. You can hear the rustling of rats in the walls, the occasional snort of a pig in the corner, and the steady, rhythmic breathing of your family, each one lost in their own struggles, their own battle to survive. The weight of the day presses down on you, but there's no relief. There's never truly any relief. Your mind is too tired, too clouded by the endless grind to rest. In the darkness, you can hear the wind howling outside, pushing against the flimsy wooden walls of your hut. The fire, what little is left of it, flickers weakly in the hearth. It casts eerie shadows that dance and flicker across the walls. Every creak of the building, every whisper of the wind makes you tense. Is it a thief, a marauding band, or just the noise of the night? In the Middle Ages, uncertainty is a constant companion, a shadow that follows you every waking moment. You try to drift into sleep, but your body aches, your limbs stiff from the constant labor. The bed feels like it's mocking you, reminding you that comfort is a luxury you'll never have. And yet, you sleep, eventually. It's the body's instinct to shut down, to stop fighting the inevitable, even if the mind isn't ready. You close your eyes, finally slipping into a restless slumber. Morning arrives too soon. The sun, just a faint sliver on the horizon, doesn't offer the comfort of warmth. You rise with the same grogginess as the day before, the same dull weight in your chest. There's no time for reflection, no time for wonder. There's only the immediate, the pressing urgency to get up and begin again. You dress in your worn clothes, the same ones you've been wearing for days, weeks, months. There's no point in even considering new garments. New clothing is a luxury, something only the wealthy can afford. You've learned to ignore the stains, the holes, the smell that lingers on your skin. It's part of the life you lead now, part of the world you inhabit. And yet, with every layer of clothing you put on, you feel the weight of it, the weight of survival, of a life defined by labor and hardship. Once again, the day stretches ahead, and once again, you do what you must. There's no time for anything else. Every step you take feels heavy, like the earth itself is pulling at your feet. Your hands are calloused from years of work, your back hunched from the labor that never ends. You glance around you at the people you pass. Everyone's face is etched with the same weariness. They look like you, tired, beaten, worn down by the endless cycle. The village is quiet this morning, the kind of quiet that feels ominous. You hear the occasional clink of a tool, the distant bleat of a sheep. But for the most part, it's still. The air hangs heavy with the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. The fog rolls in again, thick and suffocating. It's a constant reminder that even in the simplest moments of life, nature has the power to dominate. As you move through the motions of your day, you can't help but feel the weight of it all. Every action, every task is a reminder that you are nothing but a small part in this vast and different world. And yet, you keep going. You keep working. It's the only thing you can do. The world doesn't offer you a choice. You exist to survive, to make it through another day. And as the day comes to a close, you find yourself once again at the end of another cycle. The day may have been long, the work unrelenting, but tomorrow will be the same. The grind never stops. The world, with all its beauty and brutality, will continue to turn, and you will continue to work, as you always have. The only difference is that with each passing day, a little bit of your soul gets left behind. A little bit of you fades until all that remains is the shell of a person who knows nothing but survival. But in the end, that's all anyone really has, the will to survive.